Hey guys, I am so excited for today's video. Not only am I going to be talking about one of my favorite beauty brands, but I am collaborating with one of my very good friends here on YouTube, Allison Chase. She is a Canadian YouTuber. She is based in Montreal and she is a Chanel expert. Anytime there's a new Chanel release or anything, I turn to her channel. She does the best reviews of Chanel. She does the best reviews of luxury beauty overall. She even has a series where she talks about like the history of brands, which is fascinating. She does so much research on it. It's really, really wonderful. And because Allison is from Montreal, she also pronounces everything properly. She pronounces all of the French words properly. Again, I refer to her for those. You guys know, I pretty much slaughter every French word I come across. So definitely check out Allison's channel. She'll also obviously be doing a video much like this one, her top 10 favorite Chanel beauty products. We didn't want to like spoil each other's surprise, like what was going to show up on each other's list. I get the feeling, I know like most of what she's probably going to be talking about, but she is going to be talking a little bit more about like maybe some perfumes, maybe some makeup tools will show up in her video, but I'm going to be focusing on makeup because we wanted to keep this to 10 products. We didn't want this video to go on, and I easily had 10 favorites in the Chanel line. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I did put on as many of the products on my face as possible. So we'll do cutaways, much like if you've seen any of my monthly favorites. This is what I do for my favorites. I'll do like cutaways to B-roll of me actually applying the products so you guys can get a really good sense of these products. So I have a couple of foundations. The first one I want to talk about is the Water Fresh Tint. I love this foundation. It is very light coverage. And in fact, I remember when this first came out, there were quite a few people I know that were like, is this a joke? This feels like Emperor's New Clothing type of makeup where you put it on, you don't really see anything. But there's definitely something to this Water Fresh Tint. Some people use it as primer. I love just using it as foundation. I really love a light coverage foundation, but it does something really perfecting to your skin without all of the coverage because it's water-based. It's really, I almost said plumpifying. It's very plumpifying for your skin. It's just like this fresh drink of water for your skin, and it just makes your skin look really, really healthy, smooth. Yeah, there's just something very, very perfecting about it. And I was going to put this on today because this is one of my favorite foundations for the warmer weather. You can see I'm almost done with this guy. Oh, I have it in the shade medium light, by the way, for shade reference. But I have been wearing this quite a bit. So I thought I would put on a different foundation for you that I wanted to mention in this video. And that is the No. 1 Day Chanel foundation. I have it in the shade B20. And is this the newest Chanel? Oh, no. Their newest is their revamped version of this. Their revamped version of this, by the way, is nice, but it's just not one of my favorites because it's very similar to this, but it has more coverage. There's more pigmentation in there. I feel like it just kind of takes away a little bit from the magic of what this is, this sort of like water-based kind of jelly feeling. It's just a product I feel like that is meant to have light coverage. I don't know if that makes sense because it is so water-based and it is so cooling, and I always associate it to the spring, summer, and I like lighter coverage foundations. It's probably just me. But that other one, if you want more coverage, it's perfect for you, but I prefer this one. So anyway, that one didn't make it to my list. So this No. 1 Day Chanel is fairly new. It did come out earlier this year. I love it because it has a light medium coverage, which again is my preference, light, medium, light. It's just one of those foundations that kind of does it all. There is some smoothing, there is some blurring, there is the pigmentation, so there is that like slight perfecting, but it's not, overly makeup-y. It's not thick on the skin. I don't feel like I'm wearing like a heavy coverage type of foundation or even a heavy texture kind of foundation. It has just this very lotiony kind of texture. It goes on really nicely. It sets like in an appropriate amount of time, not too quickly, or it doesn't set at all. Those I feel like are the worst. Those foundations that just sort of swim over your skin. This just, it sets nicely. The only thing I do want to mention is that it does have a fragrance. There is like camellia flower extract in here. And I don't think the fragrance is strong. My nose is a little messed up from allergies. I don't think the fragrance is that strong, but there is a fragrance. And I do want to mention that because I know a lot of you are not into fragrance. Fragrance gives you a headache. You're bothered by it. I totally get it. So I do want to mention that this does have fragrance. But I really just love the way it makes my complexion look. I have just a little bit of powder, just like kind of in my oilier areas, but I don't have it all over my face. And it's gorgeous. It's just a really, really gorgeous, sort of like everyday kind of foundation. It's one of those foundations I feel like you can turn to, like if you don't know what kind of mood you're in or you don't know what the day is going to bring, this is the perfect foundation for that. So that's the number one day Chanel foundation that I also wanted to mention in this top 10 list. So that's number 2. Number 3 that I wanted to mention is the concealer from Chanel. And I don't think I use this for you guys very much, but I do use this. And well, actually you can see that I use this. You can see that the bottle, the tube, I should say, is emptying out. And this is my second one. Yeah, this is my second one. So I think that says a lot as well. So I do have this today underneath my eyes. And this has a really wonderful, like gel consistency. So it really glides on your skin. It doesn't like sit on top of your skin, but there's something about it that doesn't just like sink into your fine lines. So it sits above your skin really, really beautifully. It blends out beautifully. It's like super duper smooth. I don't have powder over this concealer either. So I don't even think this concealer necessarily needs to be set down with powder. There's a lot of concealers in my collection that I feel like needs to be set down with powder. And it looks great throughout the day. It wears really beautifully. It's long lasting. It's just one of those, I don't know, I want to say it's a hidden gem because I don't actually hear a lot of people talk about Chanel's concealer, but I do know a lot of people use it. It's just, I guess it's not a new product or whatever, so it's kind of fallen to the back of all of our drawers. But this is a really, really great concealer. I love it. Oh, and for shade reference, I am 20 beige. So that is the concealer. I think that's the name, at least in English, that's the name, concealer. The next product, you guys, I had to mention this. If you've been watching me even these past few months, the Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh blushes. I have 4 shades here. 2 of them were actually sent to me from a friend here on YouTube, so a huge thank you. And then I purchased 2 when they were released here. I love these. I absolutely love these. I didn't actually know what I thought about these when I first got them, because what I loved so much about the Water Fresh Tint foundation is that it's so light, it's so minimal, but I really like blush, and I like blush that is, pigmented, at least well. It doesn't need to be overly pigmented, but I want, a blush that's pigmented. And so I thought, well, are these just gonna be like this kind of like super light wash of just like, barely any color there? And these really surprised me. These have more pigmentation than I thought. They have a really appropriate amount of pigmentation for a blush. They blend out beautifully. And another worry that I had, another worry that I had with these blushes was that possibly they were just going to be kind of just like this mess, like it was going to kind of pick up any foundation that I had on underneath, or they weren't really going to like set down or anything. I have had no problems applying these blushes either. They set down really nicely. They never like interfere with the makeup that I have on underneath. They're just really, really an impeccable formula. And I have to say, I was kind of surprised, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I have all 4 of these. The 2 shades, and I don't have this on today, I have a different product on, but the 2 shades that I like the most, I will say, or that I use the most, I like them all, is warm pink and light pink. So warm pink is a little bit deeper than light pink, but they're more neutral than the other 2 shades I have, which is light peach and intense coral. Those are definitely a little bit warmer. Why don't I go ahead and pump out some of the warm pink, and so you can see what I'm talking about. So here is that really light texture. You can see it running down my hand, and what you want to do is you want to definitely break up those pigment beads in there. So this was just 1 pump, and look at that beautiful flush of color that you get. And it does set down eventually, but look how even it is. It's really surprising. I thought because of the watery base that maybe it was going to become kind of patchy or whatever. It's really, really beautiful. And it does have like a nice kind of radiance to it. It's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So those are the Waterfresh blushes from Chanel, and that is number 4 on my list. Now, number 5 on my list, I will admit, I kind of forgot about these products. And when I was going through this list, you know, the powder blushes are a big disappointment to me. So thankfully we've got this Waterfresh blush, but Chanel also has these blush sticks that I really, really love. And I was kind of digging through my collection and just kind of like pulling out Chanel stuff that I like. And I came across these and I was like, why haven't I been using these? I just have too much makeup. So I have 2 shades. I used to have all of them and I decluttered a couple because they dried out. I did not have, it was my fault. I didn't have like the lid on completely, these click. I suspect that that was the problem. So what I have on today is blush number 23. That is this one. It's just this beautiful, like pinky peachy. It has like a golden metallic shift to it. Here is a swatch of it. And again, it is what I have on my cheeks. And what I like about these blushes is you can build them up. So you can see how deep this swatch is. But I have just kind of like a nice kind of like light application of it on my cheeks. It's just really gorgeous. And it's a beautiful formula. It blends out beautifully. I can use a brush. I can kind of stipple it on. I can use my fingers and just kind of tap it on, blend it out. Really, really gorgeous. And the other shade that I have is number 20, which I definitely have used probably more in the past because it is like a warmer nude kind of shade, but it has the same kind of golden sheen to it. Again, just absolutely gorgeous. And you can see that they set down kind of matte. I wouldn't say they're like a cream to powder or anything like that. Not that drastic. It's just like a slightly like a demi matte kind of finish, but because they have that metallic sheen to them, they don't look dry at all. But I like that they kind of dry down to this like demi matte situation because it makes them long wearing. So I've never had any wear issues with these blush sticks. They last all day on my cheeks, which I know is sometimes an issue when it comes to cream blushes, but these last all day and they are gorgeous. So that was number 20 and number 23. But I think there's like 4 or 5 shades in total. And I'm like, why don't I have all of them? And then I remembered that I had to declutter some of them. Anyway, those are the blush sticks. Really, really love them. When it comes to highlight, I love, love, love almost all of the Chanel highlighters that they come out with, but they're limited edition. And I didn't really want to talk about limited edition products in this particular video because not only did I want to, well, I wanted to talk about products that you could get, but I also wanted to, or I should say Allison and I wanted to make this video also kind of like if you were just getting into Chanel makeup, like what you should go for. And the last thing I want to do, again, is like recommend something that you can't get. So anyway, what I will say is when Chanel comes out with those limited edition highlighters with their collections, you may want to think about getting one because they are generally, like the powder ones and the compacts, they are generally really, really out of this world. But a highlighter that I do really enjoy that is part of their regular line is their Balm Essentiel. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So one of the first ones they came out with was Sculpting. I think this was one of the first ones that came out. I think Sculpting and also like Transparent, which was just clear cream stick or whatever. I love Sculpting and that's what I have on today. This one is probably the best match for my skin tone. So it's a very emollient, low-key kind of highlighter. I just love it because it makes my cheek look really glossy without too much of like a metallic, you know, shimmer. I don't look like a disco ball with this on. Very, very subtle. And I remember when this came out, which was years ago, it was when highlight was, highlight's still popular, but like the really super blingy highlight was super duper popular. And this was kind of like a refreshing change. And I remember really gravitating towards this. And yeah, I love it. I still love it. I still wear it. I've been wearing it actually a lot because I had been comparing it to the Victoria Beckham Reflect Highlight Stick that I know a lot of you are not a fan of because this has micro glitters in there, which really kind of come out in the daylight. This doesn't have that. This is much smoother. So that is Sculpting, but they do have a lot of other shades, which I have. Let me just swatch them for you. So I think this one's actually limited edition. Let me put that one away. So I have Rosé, which I do have tapped a little bit, just a little bit, like on the apples of my cheeks. I just wanted to give this part of my cheek just a little bit more oomph, but it really is just a very lightly pigmented balm. So there is Rosé. And then here is Pearlescent, which is the whitest, coolest toned one. This is what it looks like in the stick. So you can see this is almost silvery and foily. So I think that one is a bit louder. You can see a bit louder than Sculpting, Rosé, and there's Pearlescent. And then the last one I have is Ore. So this one is a golden one. And this has, again, just a really beautiful, like subtle sheen. This one is probably my second most used. So here is Ore, Pearlescent, Rosé, and Sculpting, which is my most used. So I just love these balm sticks. They're just really beautiful. I love the glossy finish that it gives your cheeks. And they don't set down completely, but they're not like terribly tacky. I think a little bit goes a long way. I don't think you need to like really go at it. I just use my finger and kind of tap it on just a little bit, and it's enough. And I feel like it's fine. It's not like sticky like my hair sticks it in or anything. It's nothing like that. So that's the texture. Those are the Balm Essentials. I just absolutely love them. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, sorry. I found one more Balm Essential. This one is Golden Light. This one is really, really beautiful. So this is like the bronzy Balm Essential. Isn't that pretty? I really, really love the subtlety of these sticks. Just that little hint of glossiness. So that's Golden Light. Okay, next up for eyes, you guys know I love, love, love that Mediterranean quad, but that one was limited edition, so I didn't want to talk about it. It's also sold out everywhere, so you can't even get it. So I was kind of digging through like the permanent collection Chanel quads that I have, and this is another one that I love. I've gone very hard with this quad and kind of forgot about it. And this is the Claire Obscure quad. They are all mattes. The texture of these, there's a little bit of like creaminess to them. So when you apply them, there's like a little bit of grit. And it is what I have on my eyes today. I pretty much have all the shades on in some way. I have like the deepest shade on as like liner, and I have the other three shades just sort of like all over my lids. And I just love the tone of these shadows. They're very, very neutral, probably a little bit cool leaning. And despite it looking really basic and really unearth shattering in the pan, they're just beautiful everyday shades. Like these are like the little black dress in your closet, your perfect pair of jeans, the jeans that you've been breaking in for years that just fit you perfectly. This is like the eyeshadow quad version of that. Just goes with everything. Any occasion, you can really, really smoke it up with these two deeper shades if you want. You can keep it really natural with these three. It's just wonderful. And I do love, I mean, you guys know, I love like a satin finish, metallic finish eyeshadow. But for an everyday kind of, excuse my language, basic palette, this is perfect because it's just like no fuss, no shine, nothing. And I know a lot of people don't like shiny eyeshadow. They think it kind of emphasizes texture and those things on their eyelids. This is perfect for you. So that is the Claire Obscure Chanel Quad, which I'm so happy is not limited edition. And the last three products I want to talk about are all lip products. So the first one I want to mention is the Chanel Ultra Tenue Duo. And these are Chanel's version of a liquid lipstick. Now, I'm holding up my favorite shade, which is Tender Beige. These liquid lipsticks are the only liquid lipsticks I can abide by. They are super duper comfortable and they are completely budge proof. Wow, where was I going with that? Let me just do a quick swatch of this Tender Beige. It has a little bit of pinkiness to it. So it's not too nudie beige. It's not going to give you like concealer lip or anything like that. So first you use the color side. There's two sides to this. And once this sets down, and you'll feel it when it sets down, especially on your lips. It will start to feel a little bit dry, and it'll be really sticky. Like if you smush your lips together, you'll like have to pry them apart. So I'm just gonna let this set a little bit because I want to show you how budge proof these are. All right, so it is pretty much set down there. I'm gonna go ahead and use this other side. And this other side, it's like a clear gloss. And I'm just going to paint over the pigment there. And I did a live stream where I actually demoed these budge proof lip products from Chanel. I put one on and then I ate a really, really greasy piece of pizza and none of this came off. So here it is, right? All glossy looking. Nothing comes off on your finger. And look, it's so magical. It's so magical. And that clear, I'm calling it a gloss. It's like a fixant, I'm assuming. Yeah, it just completely seals in the pigment and it doesn't budge. It just doesn't budge. And then that gloss keeps it really, really comfortable. So anyway, I just wanted to mention those. And my favorite shade is Tender Beige. So if you're looking for a budge proof lipstick that's comfortable, look no further. And then you guys knew I was gonna have to mention this. This is the Rouge Coco Gloss in 804. I don't actually have it on my lips today. I was gonna put it on just sort of as a no-brainer. This pretty much stays in my purse. It doesn't go anywhere. I put this on by itself. I love, love, love pairing it with like a contour kind of lip pencil. It really makes my lips look nice and plump. And it's just a gorgeous, like milky shade. I know it looks very pink in the tube, but it's not. It ends up being a very, very light pink on your lips. So if you do use like a contour kind of lip pencil, what ends up happening is you kind of get like an ombre lip, you know, where it's darker on the outside, it gets lighter on the inside. Yeah, it makes your lips look really, really plump. When I first got this and first started wearing it, no lie, I had at least like 3 people asked me if I had got my lips done. And I was like, no, why? So yeah, this is magical. And then last but not least, I love the Rouge Coco Flash formula. There's any shade in that line, I just don't think you can go wrong. It's the formula. They're so moisturizing, and it's what I have on my lips today. They're so moisturizing, and they have this beautiful glossy kind of finish. Some of them have a metallic sheen, some of them a little bit more, some of them a little bit less, but they end up making, much like the gloss, they end up making your lips look so plump. So I have on, and this is probably one of my favorite shades. This is Boy, and it's just this really nice kind of like nude shade. There it is, right here. And you can see like how glossy it is in the tube, but it's not, it's like a crazy formula. So it goes on almost like a gloss. And I feel like any other lip product where I've had the similar sensation of applying it, it's smushy. Like the actual lipstick is so soft, and it's to be expected. You know, you put it on, it is really soft, it's very moisturizing, but that's not the case with these lipsticks. I mean, they're definitely softer than like a matte lipstick, but they're not like smushy. You don't feel like they're just gonna kind of fall apart on your lips. They're just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So this is what I have on my lips. I'll reapply a little bit. And they just give your lips that perfect sheen. Yeah, it makes them look real pouty. Okay guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and a huge thank you to Allison Chase for collaborating with me on this video. Definitely don't forget to check out her video, her channel. I'll link everything down below in my description box, and let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know what some of your favorite Chanel products are if I didn't mention them, and subscribe down below if you haven't. I'll see you in my next video.